everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Nicole and I'm a part-time reseller on Poshmark, and today I'm going to talk about how you can be profitable with your small business side hustle. There are really a lot of things that you can do to be profitable, but I'm going to cover a few in today's video that I think are most important. They're going to help you really have success and make your small business more than just a small business, maybe even make it a full-time job if you're still doing it part-time. I personally am still doing it part-time, but I also have a full-time job that has really good benefits and that pays me really well, so it's really hard to walk away from that, even though Poshmark is definitely my passion and reselling is something that I'd much rather be doing. I just can't walk away from the extra benefits that an actual job has, but maybe someday I definitely will, but these things are going to definitely help me get there. So hopefully you like this video and hopefully you can learn something from this video, and also let me know down below if you are a part-time seller or a full-time seller. I would love to know your journey and, you know, if you're a full-time seller, how you got there. Okay, so the first thing that is extremely important to be profitable with your small business is to keep your costs as low as possible. So I've talked in recent years how I've started getting inventory for anywhere from free to $1, and I don't really pay much more for inventory unless I know it's something that has a lot of value. Then probably I'll pay up for it. But keeping your costs as low as possible really ensures that you're going to maximize those profits, and also ensures that if, hey, an item isn't selling anymore, or maybe a brand isn't selling anymore, you're not really losing that much out on the item. And that gives you the most flexibility for selling price. So keeping your costs as low as possible is really the best thing you can do. Now, I totally understand not everyone can get their items for free to $1. So I understand that maybe you have to pay a couple dollars for your inventory, but I would not be paying more than $10 for your average cost of good, just because that makes it a little bit harder to sell. Now, again, if you're selling luxury items, then maybe that's a different story. Maybe you could pay more than 10, but if you're just selling everyday normal clothes and everyday normal brands, I would not be paying that much for your items, because it's going to make it really hard for you to turn a profit and make more money on those items. Okay, the next thing that's going to really help you be profitable is to price higher than you think, price higher than you are going to actually accept the item at, because you want to make sure you have room to send offers yourself or accept offers that come in. If you price at the price that you are looking to get for the item, that doesn't give you any flexibility to receive offers and or send offers. And I honestly swear by sending offers. I think most of my sales on the platform come from sending offers, and I know a lot of other people are very similar with me. So I think it's so important to send offers and get offers. And if you price at the price that you want to get, you're not going to have that flexibility to do that, and it's going to prevent you from making more sales, especially if your price is a little on the high side. So definitely don't price where you're looking, price it a little bit higher, and that can ensure that you have that buffer room to send offers or anything like that. Also, pricing slightly higher gives you that buffer to then lower the price if you need to, for, say, closet clear out or any other reasons. If you just think the item isn't selling the way you really expected, you can lower it a little bit. That gives you also the flexibility to do that. Okay, the next thing that you can definitely keep an eye out is don't go overboard with your packages. Now, I totally understand going the extra mile and having custom packaging, or giving out like a freebie with your item, or putting a thank you card and a business card in your orders. I think that is so important to do. However, you don't need to go overboard, and you don't need to buy the most expensive packaging ever. I also still do get the USPS free mailers and the free boxes, as well as I have my own poly mailers that I order, just because I think it adds such a nice touch, but I do keep my costs pretty low on those. And so I'm not paying that much. It's probably about $1 per mailer, really. Now, that might be high to someone, but I think it's perfectly within reason for me to get those. And I also think that it's still, you know, adds that nice touch without going overboard. But if you really pay a lot for your packaging, it's going to make it so you're not making as much money. So especially if you're just starting out, use those free USPS boxes and mailers that you can get. You can order them to be delivered to your house, or you can pick them up for free at your local post office. Definitely start with those, or start with old Amazon boxes or any other kind of boxes that you get from other things that you order. Just make sure there's no labels or anything like that on it. I think that is the best way to keep your costs as low as possible. The next thing that is probably one of the most important things to make sure that you remain profitable is to make sure that you're actually listing. Now, this may sound really stupid and this may sound like really obvious, but you'd be surprised how many people say, oh, I have a massive desk pile over there. I haven't listed anything. I'm just so unmotivated to list and things like that. And that is honestly part of the reason why you are not making money and you're not profitable, because you're not listing the items that are going to give you that money. And so it's so important to keep up with your death pile. Don't let it accumulate, because the more items that are in that death pile are the more items that are not selling and not making you money. And I always swear by the more you list, the more that you actually sell. And if you're consistent with listing, you're going to be consistent with getting sales. And if you're just staring at your death pile and you're not listing, you're probably not going to be making those consistent sales. And it's one thing for, you to tackle that death pile every day. Say you had a bunch of clothes at once. Like me, I generally get my inventory in bulk, and then it takes me a while to get through it. But I know of people that just have a whole room dedicated to stuff that they just don't tackle, and they just let it accumulate. And that to me is screaming like you're not going to make a profit. Like, how can you make a profit on items that you're just not like listing? So it's very, very important, and it makes such a big difference to really make sure that you are actually listing those death piles. And honestly, I find that if I have too big of a pile, it's overwhelming. So I try and organize mine into categories and into sections, because I feel like that really goes a long way and makes a difference. So I personally like to organize mine in, pants, and then shirts, and then dresses, and then different categories, so I know exactly what I'm listing. And so say it's the summer season, I will then list the dresses and the short sleeve shirts first, and then get to the pants afterwards. It just really helps me be more organized, and that may make sure I keep all my in-season pieces listed at the same time, ensuring that I can maybe sell those before the season ends. If you do have a massive death pile, maybe try and get it organized, maybe make it a little bit easier to tackle, because when you just have a big pile of a bunch of stuff, it makes it really overwhelming, and you kind of don't want to tackle it. Plus, when you have a lot of items like that all just thrown in a big pile, they get wrinkly or, things like that. So it's just better if you kind of organize it better, and it will be a lot less daunting to have to go through, and you'll make more money quicker. And the final way to be profitable with your small business or your side hustle is just getting items that people want. Don't be buying a lot of items that people really don't want. Make sure you keep up with those trends and those styles. Mainly the styles. Brands are not as important to me. I've always said that in videos, where I don't think it's as crucial to pick up certain brands. I do think it's more important to pick up certain styles and those trendy styles, because those are the things that are going to make you money and make you money fast. So you want to make sure you pick up those pieces. Now, I understand sometimes it's hard to get the trending styles, but there are so many styles out there that are really easy to get, or even just like colors that are trending, anything like that. So always keep an eye on the Poshmark Trends report, or just trending styles in general. Maybe do some research on things that are trending, and definitely make sure you're trying to list those pieces when you can. And it's going to help you make more sales, because you're going to sell the pieces a lot faster, which means that you're going to be more profitable, because you're going to be blowing through your inventory. If you don't list those trendy pieces, your items are going to be stale, and you're just not going to make that much money, and then in turn you're just not going to be profitable because you're not making sales. It's such a simple solution, and you'd be surprised with how many people fill up their closet with things that they're just not happy with, or that they don't like, or things like that, and then they wonder why they're not making money or sales. Okay, so I hope this video helped you understand different ways that you could make your business profitable, and how you could really take your small business to the next level. These are all crucial things, and they will all really make a big difference for your closet, and make your small business go from a small business to, an actual real job that sustains you. It will take it from a side hustle to a small business, and that is really what a lot of us want and a lot of us strive for. So hopefully this gave you some great ideas of what you can do. And again, don't forget to let me know, if you are a full-time seller, what you did to make yourself go from a part-time seller to a full-time seller. I would love to hear those down below. If you want to see another video on some bread and butter brands that I swear by selling, that continually sell time and time again for me, you could click right here. And if you want to see another video on my opinion on the new Poshmark changes that they rolled out with the excessive relisting and the excessive listing, all of that, and my thoughts, you could click right here. But until next time, I will see you then.